Welcome to Eagle Insights, Tennessee Tech's news and variety show. I'm Laura Mansfield.
And I'm Braden Copeland. The solo concerts have been a part of Tech since 2011 and have featured artists such as Juicy J, the Goo Goo Dolls, and Judah and the Lion. The Student Government Association has considered increasing the solo budget to allow for bigger name artists to perform. Eagle Insights asked students for their input.
So if the fee's going to be doubled, then I think we should definitely go through and try to bring in bigger performers, and more popular ones.
I feel like the solo fee should be increased from 20 to 40. I mean, that's a little more money out of our pockets, but that'll definitely bring better artists, because half the artists that are brought onto campus, I have no idea who they are. I usually try to sell my tickets because I know I'm not going to go, because I don't even know who the group is, the band, the individual. So I feel like if the solo fee is increased, then that'll be beneficial to everybody on campus.
I actually don't mind the solo fund being increased. I have scholarships that can help cover that part of the raised expenses, and if it means Tech gets better artists for the solo concert, I'm all for it.
I'd love to see Imagine Dragons because I know they put on a really big concert, especially with percussion and lights and stuff.
More of a hip hop R&B, so I don't know if this is possible, but Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Taylor Swift come on campus if you want to. I'll go to it, but definitely bigger name artists. Chance the Rapper. I know we had that one year, but he never did come. They picked somebody else.
I would say that I would want to see a bit more, not hard rock, but more just not even classic rock, just rock in general. They're a little bit big for Tech, but some like an Imagine Dragons type of band, maybe Fits and the Tantrums, kind of alternative, but still a bit bigger named. I just mean like I said, they're a bit big, but Mumford & Sons or Imagine Dragons, I know that sounded really unrealistic, but bands with a similar sound to them.
Each semester, students vote from a list of performers in a chosen genre to headline the solo concert. Tech students are eligible for 2 free tickets.
A computer science major is pushing all the right buttons by building a custom game controller. Eagle Insights' Isaac Wright has the details.
Control. It's one of the most important aspects of a video game, even more so than graphics, sound, or story. In arcades, many control styles can be found and are often tailored to the game. NBA Jam, Space Invaders, Tapper, Mortal Kombat. Fighting games standardized controls and became the basis for fight sticks. A fight stick is a handheld, at-home version of an arcade-style control layout, popular in fighting game circles because of the emulation of the cabinet experience. Buying one of these is expensive, at least $150 for cheaper options, but for as long as there have been gamers, they have been customizing their experience. This is a homemade fight stick. comprised of a simple wooden box housing affordable electronics readily available online, much cheaper and more personal than retail counterparts. Austin Lane is a freshman computer science major at Tennessee Tech, and he is the one who built his own custom fight stick.
I'm a computer science major, focus cybersecurity, but whatever you want to call that. But as far as what year I am, I'm a freshman. This is just my second semester.
For the most part, a regular controller and the fight stick function the same way, but there are a few notable differences.
So as far as input goes and how it's treated in the computer, they're functionally the same. The actual circuitry of the fight stick, it's just a USB encoder, and the computer by default treats it just like a normal joystick does. What's different are the switches and how it's getting that input. So the biggest example I can think of, let's contrast this with, say, something like an Xbox or PlayStation controller. They have a full 360-degree range of detection. So, they figure out exactly which angle you're moving, which if you have a 3D game, that's really helpful. The arcade sticks, they're meant for more, 2D arcade fighting games, in which case only the major eight directions, so north, south, east, west, and then in between those, that's really what matters.
A player in an intense match would not worry about accidentally giving too much input using a stick compared with a regular controller. Lane purchased the electronic components online and constructed the enclosure himself out of wood and an acrylic plate on top. Some of the work was done in the iCube Makerspace on the 3rd floor of the Volpe Library. Makerspace is a unique combination of computer science and what many people would consider a workshop. 3D printers, their products, electronics, and a groovy robot can be found here. The wooden case is largely constructed at this point, and Lane is measuring the acrylic top, which gives a shine and hold custom artwork in place on the final controller. How difficult is building one? Lane compares the electrical aspect to building a Lego kit. Overall, it's much cheaper than buying a pre-made one.
Because there's no soldering or anything that you have to do, you just connect leads to the buttons and connect that to the circuit board.
Lane is building 4 of these, 2 for himself and 2 as prizes for the Tennessee Tech Esports Club's Button Mash Bash event being held on April 28th.
The 8-button layout that I have, it's actually the standard arcade button layout for arcade machines in Japan. So at the certain angles and the certain positions they're in, and it's just an 8-button sequence. Also, that allows you to play a much wider variety of games with the same joystick. Because if you think about it, if a game needs 8 buttons, you've got 8 buttons. But if it needs 6, well, then 2 of them aren't going to be used. But if you have 6 buttons on your joystick and your game needs 8, what are you going to do?
How important is the perfect input to someone who plays fighting games? DeMarcus Fouch is a former Tech student and a frequent participant in fighting game tournaments, recently placing 3rd in the Dragon Ball FighterZ tournament at NTech, the Middle Tennessee Anime Convention. He explains the intricacies of controllers versus fight sticks.
Yes, you can play them with a fight stick, but a lot of games these days are made towards they're catered towards more like the casual gamer who feels like they don't have to run out and buy this heavy arcade stick just to play well. You can actually play it well with a standard PlayStation 4 controller or an Xbox One controller. But I always tell people this, it's preference. Don't feel like you really need to run out and buy a huge controller just so you can feel like you're doing something. Because most games nowadays, the way they're developed and made in mind towards the casual gamer, you don't really need to spend that much on it. You can do just fine with whatever you're comfortable with, and that's pretty much the one thing I want people to take out of this is preference.
Depending on the game, some moves may be easier to do with a stick compared to a controller. Fouch is demonstrating basic combos using both. Note the use of the claw method on the controller, which doesn't happen on the stick. Preference is the key, which Lane says fueled his drive to build his custom controller along with the challenge of the actual construction.
It's kind of a lame reason, but I just wanted to. It's really just kind of the person I am. I just think, hey, I wonder if I could do this, and I decided to do it. I just enjoy playing fighting games, and it's not too incredibly expensive. It'd be an interesting project, and who knows, it might actually, I might get better at playing these fights, because I enjoy playing them. I'm just really, really bad at them. But yeah, when it all boils down to it, I just felt like making it, and I wanted to see if I could.
The Putnam County primary election is around the corner. After the break, Eagle Insight's Noah McKay has the details on the races.
Parking. We all have to deal with it. The new Parking Companion app will let you know if you can park in any given spot or lot on campus and the surrounding area. It tracks you via your phone's built-in GPS and has up-to-date parking regulations on campus. Pull it up when you pull into a lot. Sometimes the stadium lot is reserved for sporting events. Just check your phone to see if you're able to take one of those spots. The easy-to-use yes or no interface gets to the point, so you can focus on getting to the next zone. Be mindful of those 30-minute visitor lots along Peachtree and in front of Derryberry. With enough determination, you'll be able to find a place to park. Guaranteed. Just be sure the shuttle operates outside of city limits so you won't be late for class. Download the Can I Park Here companion app today.
In today's 24-hour news cycle, it seems that it's always election season. But here in Putnam County, voters will have their first opportunity this year to make their voices heard. Here's a look at the upcoming May 1st Putnam County primary elections.
If you take a drive around Putnam County, you'll likely pass several campaign signs. Voters across the county will head to the ballot box on May 1st to vote in the county primary election. Voters can cast their ballots for county commissioners, circuit court clerk, county trustee, sheriff, register of deeds, and road supervisor. There's also a referendum on the ballot over whether or not the Mackey Farm area should be annexed. Given that it is a primary election, voters will vote in either Republican or Democratic primaries. Republicans will have more decisions to make, as only 3 Democrats will be on the Democratic ballot, compared to 32 Republicans. Some races to watch are the Republican race for road supervisor between incumbent Randy Jones and Larry Huddleston, the county commission race in the 4th district between incumbent Larry Bennett and challenger Teresa Tays, and the 6th district between Adam Johnson and Michael D. Reap.
Early voting will be held from April 11th through the 26th at the Election Commission. Election day voting will be held at various precincts around the county. To find out where you can vote, visit your voter registration card or www.putnamcountytn.gov.
You may have heard him in restaurants around the Upper Cumberland area. Eagle Insights sits down with Tech alum and musician Jake Hoot.
Got my first guitar when somebody gave me a guitar when I was 13, and I learned just by watching musicians and stuff, whether online or when I go see them in person and stuff. I didn't actually start playing shows until after I graduated, and a good friend of mine that's actually from Cookeville, Gabby Maxwell, she was working over at a place called Seven Senses off West Side. And she asked me to come over there and play and convince the owner or whatever to get me out there. So I was their first acoustic act, and that started. I mean, I just started playing there all the time, Spanky's and a few other places, and so that kind of like kick-started me, was playing that first show, you know, because Gabby kind of introduced me to everybody, and haven't really slowed down since. I've been playing weddings and got to play the tree lighting ceremony last year here in Cookeville. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got started here in this area. And this is just such a great place with all the local breweries popping up and all the restaurants and stuff. Like, there's just so many great venues to play and so many good people around here that enjoy live music. And so, I mean, if you're a musician or you know a musician, like, I highly recommend playing around here just because it's such a great atmosphere. And like I said, everybody for many of those venues are just such great people. And I've been very blessed in this area to be able to do what I've done. It's just a great community, so.
Comes into me and I look. Nellie's only like this tall, I think. Because I look and I had to look down. He's like all in the hoodie and he goes, "What's up, big guy?" And I was like, "What's up, dude?" It took me a second. I was like, "Well, that's Nellie." He goes, "Where are you going, the NFL draft?" And I was like, "Nah, man, I'm just going to Miami." He goes,
After the break, Eagle Insights Sports Panel shares its MLB predictions.
I'm a tenured instructor of English and religious studies here at Tennessee Tech University, and for these wonderful students, I've agreed to read some of my worst Rate My Professor reviews ever. And I do believe I've mellowed significantly with age, so I asked them to go back into the earlier in my career, and I've been here 17 years, to find some of my worst ratings, and they did their due diligence, because these are pretty bad. So I'm just going to read them here, and I've edited them to make me a little less embarrassed, but I'm pretty embarrassed. So and there's 9 of these. He's a tree hugger from hell. As long as you agree with his views 100%, he will think you are a genius from the Middle Ages. It is an easy A if you don't mind putting up with his crap. That word appears a lot in these. Number 2 here. I have similar ideas as to this guy, so I'm not put off by that like the others. My issue is that he has the biggest ego on campus. He's a crazy hippie, but he's open to all views. He does not teach English, but has a religious agenda, and I believe he uses other writers to prove his point. He does not respect my opinions, and he also has pets in class. He has a weird grade system. The class isn't that bad, but I hate English, and he is a hippie. It is hard to write papers for him. I thought Mr. Smith was a wacko, and not being a creative thinker myself, his class was a horrible experience. He wants everyone to think just like he does, but who wants to live in that radical left-wing cookie-cutter world? Smith claims to be such a great writer. He believes he is doing all of us a favor by taking time out of his busy hippie agenda to teach us, but this is not the case. I have had the honor of reading his work, and it was crap. So if you ever go into education, I hope you choose not to read that wonderful website, Rate My Professors, because you'll feel really crap about yourself after you do.
This is the Eagle View Production Sports Panel. I'm Chase Hope, co-host of Absurdity Sports on WTTU.
I'm J.K. McMillan from TalkingBalls.com.
And I'm Nick Rogers, the sports editor of The Oracle.
And today, we're going to talk about baseball. It's finally here. Let's get started. So who do y'all think is going to come out of the AL East?
Red Sox. I'm totally not biased.
So JK's a fan here. I agree it's going to be the Red Sox as well. The Yankees have added the slugger in Giancarlo Stanton. But I feel like the Red Sox have better pitching. They also added J.D. Martinez. Their lineup stacked bottom to top. I don't see any way they don't win this division. And filling out the rest of the division, I feel like it's going to go Red Sox, Yankees, Orioles, Blue Jays, and Rays.
I would agree.
That's the order.
No love for Tampa Bay.
No love. Let's move on to the AL Central. Who do you think is going to win that one?
Well, it's obviously going to be the Chicago White Sox.
Okay, let's get the homer out here. It's going to be, no, without a doubt, it's the Cleveland Indians. Terry Francona is probably the best manager in the game today.
I agree. There's nobody else that really poses a threat in the Central.
Now, I know you have the Twins that made the playoffs last year. I don't see them being able to repeat. I don't see them being able to come out as a wild card. In the AL West, I believe I speak for all of us when we say it's the Astros' division to lose.
You can't count out the one-man wrecking crew for Los Angeles that is Mike Trout, though.
No, you cannot.
If you take everybody else off the field and let Mike Trout throw his own pitch, run behind the diamond, catch his own pitch, and then run back out in the outfield and catch it, he's still probably going to win 3-0.
All right, so let's move on to the National League. Who do y'all think is going to come out of the NL East? Without a doubt, it's going to be the Washington Nationals.
Just depends if they decide that Strasburg is a fragile little person who cannot handle the rigors of baseball and decide to limit him to like 7 innings like they do every single year, it seems.
You cannot hate on Steven Strasburg.
I'm not hating on Strasburg. I'm hating on the Nationals.
JK, you're hating on Steven Strasburg.
I'm not hating on Steven Strasburg. I'm hating on the Nationals for cutting down his minutes and cutting down his innings minutes. Whenever cutting down his innings every single year because they're scared to death that their little Fabergé egg is going to break. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and I play him.
Can I talk?
Yes.
All right, so whenever you're coming off of, you've had multiple Tommy John surgeries, you can't just let your phenom pitcher go out there and risk hurting his arm every single inning, every single game. You've got to put a pitching limit on him.
Okay, you can, but does that explain it when you bring him up from the middle of nowhere when nobody knows who he is and he's a rookie and he's a phenom, and then you limit him anyway? He throws 3 pitches and then you get the cane out and you yank him out?
Exactly, you got to protect that arm.
Fine. You win.
Moving to the NL Central, it's obvious it's probably going to be the Chicago Cubs.
No, it's not obvious at all. You have a team in the St. Louis Cardinals who have went out and made moves. They've acquired Marcell Ozuna. They've made other moves. They have a good pitching rotation. And then on top of them, you also have to worry about the Milwaukee Brewers, who went out and got Christian Yelich, who are building on a pretty strong campaign last year when nobody expected them to come out swinging like they did. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be fun, but I believe the Cubs are going to pull it out, but I don't think it's as obvious as people think. Moving on to the NL West, which consists of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Francisco Giants, the San Diego Padres, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. How do you think that division plays out?
The Los Angeles Dodgers are going to win it all.
The Los Angeles Dodgers are going to come up short once again, guys. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to fall short in the playoffs. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Dave Roberts does not know what he's doing.
Calm it down. That's too hot of a take. You're burning me here, Chase.
I believe the Dodgers are going to win the division. They're going to make the playoffs. I don't see them making the World Series again this year. I just feel like other teams have gotten better, and they've not really improved any part of their roster. So we discussed, recapping here a little bit, we have the Red Sox winning the AL East.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Indians winning the NL Central.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the Houston Astros winning the AL West, and the two wildcard teams, I believe we said, were the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. So who's going to take the wildcard spots in the National League? We've said the Nationals, Cubs, and Dodgers are going to be the division winners. Who do you think grabs those two spots?
Milwaukee for one.
Wow. Wow. So JK gave us his opinion. What do you think, Nick? Who grabs those two spots?
I think that we could have two wild cards out of the same division with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers.
I don't understand y'all's love for the Brewers here, but I'm going to sit here and tell you it's going to be the New York Mets and the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I'll take it. I'm not happy about it because you disagreed with me.
Well, JK, I'll write you a check. You better take it to the bank.
Free money?
Free money.
Give me that free money.
And this
Who do you want
has been the Eagle View Productions Sports Panel. Back to you in studio.
If you're traveling during summer break, take a picture of this Tennessee Tech pennant and hashtag WeAreTNTech on social media. Thanks for watching our last episode of the semester. Signing off, I'm Laura Mansfield.
And I'm Braden Copeland. Eagle Insights will return this fall.